my next guest, who's sitting here to my right, that'll be seen every single Wednesday at 10 p.m. on Audience, DirecTV Channel 239 and DirecTV Now. Starting tonight, Max Irons. Good to see you, sir.
Thank you for having me.
What a great movie this is. And
Thank you.
so for you to be part of this television reboot, playing the Robert Redford character, how, for those who are familiar with 3 Days of the Condor, how close to the character that we've known from Redford are you portraying in this?
We had a rule on set that you weren't allowed to say Robert Redford's name.
I did not know that.
And it was $100 if you said it.
Okay, I need to hit the cash machine.
It's not true.
But thankfully, there's one across the way here in the thoroughfare at AT&T. Yeah.
No, the truth of it was, Robert Redford is one of the most charismatic, fondly remembered, handsome, everything you could throw at him, actors out there. So I watched the film. I watched it a couple of times, in fact. And then there was a screening the night before we started filming. Okay. Everyone was going to show up and watch the movie and celebrate the movie. And I thought, no, I can't do this. I think, at some point, you take what you can. Sure. You acknowledge, you value, appreciate, and then you sort of have to let it go and then try not to worry about it too much, because otherwise, having Robert Redford, leaning over your shoulders, overwhelming.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I imagine so. So... Was there really a rule on set that you couldn't even? Okay, I just want to make sure about that.
Next season, I think so. Well, I'm sick of it.
Well, you'll just put it in your contract.
Absolutely.
Put it in your rider, one of those lines at the bottom, like,
it's a very long rider. I'll just add one more thing.
Right. So seeing this tonight is the premiere here in Los Angeles, and seeing the film as you did, and now having taken part in this, how do you like the finished product, Max?
Well, I think, when the film came out in 1975, I think it was particularly relevant with the backdrop of Richard Nixon. You've got Watergate. You've got the citizenry who are becoming suspicious of their governmental bodies acting in their best interests. And I think that as a theme is timeless, but is particularly relevant today. We have government bodies promising they're acting in our best interests, and in fact are proven to be not. And upon closer inspection of the CIA and what they've done over the past 75 years, a lot of the decisions they've made have in fact not necessarily been in the interests of the American people. So they're the themes we explore in Condor, and I think it's as relevant today as it was then. Max
Irons here on the Rich Eisen Show. Are you a fan of football as it is known outside of the United States in any way, shape,
You know what?
or form?
I was sitting over there listening to you guys discussing what I assume was football.
Yes.
None of it made sense.
National football.
Not even one small phrase within a sentence made sense.
But at least we are aware, or some of us here in this country, that football as we know it is called soccer here, as it's known football around the rest of the world.
Oh, so hang on. Are you asking me about
your football?
And your soccer?
Yes, that's the one.
I know nothing about either.
No! You don't even have you don't wear the scars of World Cup England?
I can leave.
I don't want to. Stop it.
I don't want to bore your audience.
No, you're not boring me whatsoever.
I have 2 left feet.
No, you never even tried it at all.
I tried it briefly. Okay. Rugby. I don't know if you're familiar with that game.
Okay.
That's a great game.
Well, we could see in the show that you can run. We see that.
That's nice of you, because I wasn't so certain about my running.
Is that right? Did you have to work on that?
It's safe to say I could have done more work. I think I have a very English style of run. It's very upright, too much elbow and knee.
Is that right? Because I was going to say you've got a very Redford-like gait. Is that okay? I mean, I know I don't want to spend. I think I'm already $300 in the hole now, based on your Redford rule right now.
Redford-like gait.
Redford-like gait.
You've made my week.
I know. Now I do want to ask you this, because obviously we can hear from your accent that you are not American, but you cannot tell when you are watching Condor. So
keep saying nice things.
No, okay, this is what I do for a living. This is no. So how do you do that? I mean, I mean, is there somebody that you hear? Speaking American, I guess, is the only way to put it in that regard.
Well, I had an accent coach. It's not a particularly interesting answer.
Okay.
I did have a couple of case studies, a couple of American actors who I was kind of trying to zero in on.
Okay, who's that?
Unfortunately, that name escapes me right this moment.
Are you serious?
It'll probably come to me in 2 seconds. But,
okay.
But yeah.
Well, who's this person in? Do you have that?
God, off the top of my head,
because we've got. Okay.
So it'll come to me. It's somewhere in the back of my brain. But lots and lots of repetition.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Is there just a certain way that we say a certain letter or a certain...
R. The letter R.
Okay, so now can you say the letter...
R.
But you say ah.
We say ah.
Ah. And then
so light.
And then
easy.
I say R.
R, which is so muscular. You know, it's like cars. You guys have these big American muscle cars, and we have these little dainty, little, tiny, bitsy little cars.
Okay.
It's the same as the language.
So you drive those cars.
We drive the cars.
But I drive a
car.
Damn straight, I drive
Damn
a car. Damn straight, Max Irons, I drive a car. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
And so, because it's amazing sometimes how many actors and actresses who are not from America speak, and it sounds remarkable in that regard.
Oh, well, that's
all the time. And,
that's nice of you to say.
Pretty cool, man.
Thank you.
And so, did somebody have to teach you to run American then? Did you have a running coach?
No,
for Condor,
I just did my own work on a treadmill. Believe it or not, I did watch the work of Tom Cruise, but he has an inherent advantage over me in that he's a little smaller. So he can really pump those limbs faster, and it has a sort of a more compelling look to it than me.
Okay.
I'm 6'3". I'm slightly less aerodynamic.
So that's more upright.
Yeah.
Because in our football, if you run upright at somebody of your size, you are going to get killed.
Okay.
Yes.
Good to know.
Just letting you know for the next role, if you can I be your American football coach if you ever choose a sports
Can
film?
we start now? I mean, I'm very keen.
Well, just if you could see the show logo across the way right there, you could see I am in fact running.
Oh, and you have a wonderful gait.
Well, I appreciate that. It's called Photoshop.
Oh, yeah.
Because the right leg that's getting ready to plant right there in the original photograph was flailed all the way out.
Yeah. Okay.
In an unseemly type gait.
Right. Hard to imagine looking at you.
I asked, and I appreciate that, Max.
Okay.
Look at us complimenting each other. So hopefully I'll owe $100 less. But you know, the leg, I had them move it in.
Good work.
Don't you think?
Absolutely.
I had my people.
So
handle
long
that.
as you don't tell your audience, just do it on the sly.
So Max Irons, you play the role of Joe Turner.
Turner.
See?
Joe Turner.
That's who, if this was across the pond.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to use that phrase. I'm an American sportscaster. We always have to say that about Wimbledon. It's played across the pond. If anything happens in Australia, I'm mandated to call it something down under.
Oh, yeah.
Or down under.
Down under.
That's very good.
Yep.
And then what can you tell folks about this show that starts again tonight that they can expect and the reason why they should tune in other than the fact that we're talking about it here on Audience?
Well, I think to put it really simply, it's a very culturally relevant, fast-paced, relentlessly fast-paced thriller. We also are complemented by an incredible cast. We have William Hurt, we have Bob Balaban, we have Brendan Fraser delivering a terrifying performance in a way that you've never seen Brendan Fraser. We have Mira Sorvino, we have Leem Lubani, who is an Israeli actress who's taking Max von Sydow's part from the movie and doing an incredible job with it. And as I mentioned earlier, I think what I like particularly about the show is not only the quality of the writing, which is very high, but it asks a lot of questions of the audience. I think we exist here in America and in Western Europe and in Canada. We are fortunate to have access to a lot of luxuries. For example, cheap, accessible fuel for our cars, or season-round food, or cell phones in our pockets that can do extraordinary things. But we trade off certain things. In the case of cell phones, certain civil liberties. In the case of cheap, accessible gas for our cars, there are certain wars in the Middle East which make that possible, or pesticides on our food. But we often turn away from the realities of these things to guarantee these luxuries. I think what Condor does, in this instance, makes us look at national security and makes us look at what we trade off versus what we get for that trade. And I think that's an interesting question that we should be asking, especially as we move forward technologically with regards to national security.
And that debuts right here on Audience tonight, channel 239 DirecTV. You could check it out on DirecTV now, 10 p.m. Eastern every single Wednesday. William Hurt, Mira Sorvino, Brendan Fraser, as you said, we've never seen him before, and Bob Balaban, who's been in everything.
Everything.
Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Especially.
He's the most fiercely intelligent people I've ever come across.
Is that right?
Yeah, he's frighteningly smart.
Huh.
Yeah, one of those people that makes you feel very stupid very quickly.
Okay. Well, you described one person here accurately and two people as well accurately with those phrases. But fiercely intelligent or something like that.
Yeah, that's it.
Fantastic. Premieres tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern on Audience for the television side of things. Please stay right there, Max. We're about to show a clip. I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
Max Irons, check him out in Condor. When we come back here on the radio television simulcast, that Ryan Shazier soundbite that you promised, Chris Brockman, we have turned that around, as they say in the television business. That's still to come, along with Luke Cage himself, Mike Coulter here.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.